Digital Domain did about 350 shots on the movie. We had this 5-headed Hydra monster that turns into a 10-headed Hydra, after you cut the heads off to grow back. The tricky thing with the water, especially at the end, is that it had to both behave physically accurate, so we did a lot of water simulations, but at the same time it had to behave in a sort of a non-physical way, like Percy, with his magical powers, is making this water float above and surround the bad guy, right? And so we had to kind of use physical simulations to push the water into a certain shape so that it had to flow and behave in a natural sort of way, but at the same time, a completely unnatural way. Effects-wise, fire simulation presented a challenge. We shot a lot of fire elements up in Vancouver, BC. But because they're static, and you've got these really dynamic heads moving around and spraying fire as they're moving, none of those would really work. So the 2D elements would really only work if you kind of kept the head still. So as soon as the head moves, you want that kind of lag in the gas sim and stuff like that. So we did a lot of additional R&D to improve our fire pipeline. And then the lighting for the Hydra and the Fury was presented a big challenge because it was such a big space, and the Parthenon sort of environment that it was in had a lot of little tiny spotlights, and our lighting team and lead kind of figured out, we were using RenderMan, so we used new point-based lighting techniques. We're taking the HDRs, and we had all these little point sources and stuff like that we could actually use, and we made a big deal about kind of making sure that it wasn't just a single light source lighting the thing, and that it was all, beautifully lit. And we had a lot of freedom in this environment because there were so many spotlights and little localized environments that we could kind of light it in a way that allowed us to kind of make it more hero, like as if a DP were lighting it and making it look good.
Feeling like a hero?
We'll find out.
It was actually a dream come true. I mean, everybody who works at Digital Domain wants to do character stuff, and so this being the first really big creature show that we got, everybody was super enthusiastic about getting on it, and the animators just had a great time. Sometimes an animator will do something, it's just like, that's really cool, now everybody copy that. It started off, the head started off more dinosaur-like, the necks, because there's 5 necks, and what do we do with all those? So they started off kind of dinosaur-like, but with the columns and everything that they were fighting between to get to the kids, we evolved more into a snake-like. And so it's one of the advantages of trying to work on the sequence all at one time instead of just working on a shot and taking that to completion, is work on the entire sequence so that as things start to develop and you think that looks pretty cool, you can start incorporating it back into the other shots so that nothing is finished until the sequence is finished.
This is bad. Come on!
Well, for DD it was unique in that we didn't have a developed muscle system, developed skin system, things like that. We felt really important to help sell the creature. Because you get so far with the animation to make it look like it has weight and everything, but when you start adding in the muscle jiggle and the skin and the detail, we were using displacement maps to get a lot of detail in the muscles, and it's 5-10% of the shot, but it really sells it in the end. Why doesn't the Hydra just come up there and eat the kids from behind the column? Because they could easily fit between there. So in animation, we kept trying to come up with reasons why they couldn't. And one thing we came up with is that even though all 5 heads belong to the same body, they're kind of independent thinkers, and that they all want to eat the kids. And so that they're often fighting with each other to be the one to get to the kids. And then, that would allow the kids to move away or keep the Hydra from actually getting them. Early on in the process, they're trying to decide, how does this thing breathe fire. And lately there's been a lot of really good dragon movies, where like they'll have like multiple things that come out and they combine and make the fire. So they weren't really interested in doing that. But we did put a nozzle in the back of the throat that we affectionately called the fire sphincter. And then we would have a blue gas come up, and then it would hit the fire sphincter, and then that's what actually would blow out the flame.